Hey, it's Mark Marin from WTF here to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. And I'm sure the reason you're listening to this podcast right now is because you chose it. Well, choose Progressive's Name Your Price tool, and you could find insurance options that fit your budget, so you can pick the best one for your situation. Who doesn't like choice? Try it at Progressive.com. And now, some legal info. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Cue the fireplace and your favorite fall movie. There's nothing better than a cozy evening at home with a glass of First Leaf wine. First Leaf is a personalized wine club that delivers right to your door. Sounds magical, right? They get to know your favorite tasting notes, which varietals you enjoy, and whether you prefer sweet or dry wines. So in every shipment, you get bottles tailored to your unique palate. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/fall to get your first 6 wines for just $44.95 with free shipping.
I have a secret. I used to struggle with dull, saggy skin. Then I found Spoiled Child's E27 liquid collagen. This extra strength liquid formula, packed with type 1 and type 3 collagen, vitamin C, and hyaluronic acid, makes it so easy to visibly transform your skin and hair. No more chunky collagen powders, just a smooth, delicious liquid that can be blended with any drink. With over 100,000 5-star reviews, this liquid collagen is going viral for a reason. And with their try before you buy offer, you could try your full-size product at home before buying. Take the quiz at spoiledchild.com/quiz. That's spoiledchild.com/quiz.
Surviving Sister Wives contains adult content that may not be suitable for Latter-day Saints or sinners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome to Surviving Sister Wives.
I'm Corey.
And I'm Carly. And we are here at Season 13, Episode 7, Divided We Move.
But I thought it was where we go one, we go all, Carly. What happened to that mentality?
We're not all in agreement on things.
How quickly things change in just a couple of weeks with this family.
Also, every time we say that, I feel the need to point out that Kody has been saying, where we go one, we go long? Where we go one, we go all long before QAnon existed.
Yeah, let's just say Kody doesn't really have original thoughts. And that is on full display. We see evidence of that in this episode, where Robin's thoughts magically become Kody's words and thoughts and actions.
It was alarming. Alarming.
So we will get into that. But first, we have the TLC description for this one. The Browns go to Flagstaff, Arizona to look at properties, and they are split. Robin and Christine prefer one, and Mary and Kody another. Janelle is the tiebreaker, and her decision is surprising. Because she picked both at first, kind of.
She did try to purchase both.
A little bit. She was trying.
She was going to get there one way or another.
But then that card got declined. She's going to have to figure out another way to pay for this thing. Let's hear the Carly episode rewrite description for this.
The Browns bulldoze over every red flag thrown at them. Truly is devastated to learn the Wi-Fi doesn't reach Flagstaff. Kody has a menty bee when the sellers accept his offer on Coyote Pass.
Oh, a classic menty bee. Maybe a menty bee light. A little half menty bee.
It was a little existential crisis.
It's a lot to take in, a lot to think about here.
And we have a lot going on in the announcements this week. Don't skip ahead.
First and foremost, we have launched, is it a sister podcast?
It's a sister wife.
Oh.
Nope, it's the, well, it's the sister wife companion to this podcast.
Okay, great. It's our spiritual wife. I don't know what it is. It is a new podcast that we are launching called Surviving Reality, where we are going to be reviewing all sorts of reality TV, dumpster fire type shows that you're used to watching, starting with Welcome to Plathville Season 6.
If all went well, you should be able to listen to that episode now everywhere that you can find podcasts.
But if you're looking on Apple or Spotify, it's not coming up on those big major platforms for you. Swing on over to Acast. You'll be able to search Surviving Reality, and it should come up there, if it hasn't already.
If it's destiny, it all worked out the way it was supposed to.
You're meant to listen to it.
And that means if you are currently subscribed to our Patreon, that you're going to start receiving those episodes ad-free.
So that feed, I can guarantee you that one works. That one, it'll be there. I promise.
It's a different upload process.
Totally different, totally separate, and it will be there.
So we hope that you check that out, that you enjoy it. The hope is that we will continue to expand the shows that we talk about over there. And we know that some of you like just getting your Sister Wives content. So nothing is going to change here. Everything is going to be the same. This is just more content available in a different place if you would like to indulge in that.
Additional content for those who are interested. You may seek that out and explore that as a possibility. For the Sister Wives purists here, don't worry, your Sister Wives content isn't going anywhere. You're still going to get all that here.
And if you like what you're hearing on Surviving Reality, we ask that you please leave us a review, share it with your friends, post about it somewhere. That will help to get it in front of other people and to make sure that we continue to be able to do this very fun thing that we've been doing for almost 5 years now.
Working on 5.
Also on the Patreon this week, our recap of Sister Wife Murder, a Lifetime original movie, will be dropping.
Ripped from the headlines. Nobody knows which headlines. Stop asking which headlines.
There is a character in the movie who seems inspired by Mary Brown.
Well, I think we just kind of assigned that role to her because of...
There were similarities.
There were some similarities.
And I know you all are just waiting on pins and needles for the trailer of season 19 of Sister Wives to drop. That has not happened yet as of the time of recording. And I am continuing to keep you updated on what I'm able to snoop out from looking through everything available from TLC. And I am saying that at this point, as I predicted last week, Sister Wives will not start until at least September. I'm thinking probably mid-September because Forbidden Love is on the schedule through the end of August on Sunday nights at 10 p.m. And it doesn't seem like that's the final episode of that. Can't tell. I'm flying blind here. I'm trying to really use all my detective skills that I have. So that's where I'm at. A mid-September premiere is my best guess.
A Midsummer Night's Dream that maybe we'll wake up from. Again, that's if they don't change the night and the time. They've never changed the night or the time during the airing of the series. So I think it's safe to say probably not going to happen before September.
I will LOL if it doesn't start until October just because McKelty told everyone it was September. Did she say September or August? I can't remember anymore.
I thought she said August, and I was like, that's pretty early.
I thought she said September, August, September.
But then everybody heard
August / September.
They want it to be August. They can't get enough.
Anyway, McKelty doesn't know. They haven't even finalized these schedules.
She's too busy moving. They're packing up a couple of children and moving across the country right now.
I think that's all we got this week.
Yeah, when you were first talking about waiting on pins and needles for stuff, I thought you were talking about the bagpipe emoji for the Discord. But no, that's already in there. So feel free to jump in the Discord if you're a Patreon member and use that bagpipe emoji to your heart's content.
I got to tell you, I think you found a new hidden talent with the bagpipe sounds.
I'm going to have to reserve it again. I don't want to upset. Maisie is napping pretty peacefully over there right now, so we'll have to use it sparingly.
We start off this episode finding out that the whole family is finally taking their trip to visit Flagstaff. And the other wives are also going to see Cottonwood for the first time.
We're really excited to go look at the only 2 options that are available in the entire state of Arizona for us to purchase.
I really don't like that they think they're going to take these kids to stare at a big empty lot with a bunch of trees on it and that they're going to suddenly decide that this is the promised land and that everything they had in Vegas is worth leaving behind for this dream of this big empty open lot.
Teenagers don't really have the vision to kind of put that together and see what that would look like, but there's nothing they can really do about it. Their parents, every 5, 6, 7 years, they decide to move and you don't really get an input. You just kind of go along for the ride.
They're pretending they're going to get input today, though.
Well, Cody's just hoping that he can get some of the kids excited about the move so that they can then encourage the wives to move, that they'll get excited. The kids are going to get excited about the move, which is going to make the wives excited about the move. and then everybody's just going to blissfully go along with this.
He also thinks the older kids are going to get so pumped about Flagstaff that they'll want to move there and follow them because they got McKelty, they got Tony, they got Maddie and Aspen and Mitch all coming to see Flagstaff as well.
There was a whole bunch of people on that list, but I'm more interested in the names that did not appear on that list.
Gabe didn't go.
Gabe was not in attendance. He was too busy finding more of the commitment ceremony bracelets.
I'm sorry, it's a wrist cuff?
Wrist-to-cuff. You might have to pop it off and go fisticuffs if these people are going to make a move again.
The crime out of all of this is that it's only been 2 days since Mary and Kody got back from their trip, and they're getting back in the car and going back to Flagstaff again.
Absolutely diabolical to put Mary through that. And her house is a war zone right now. There are just clothes scattered about.
Racks and racks of LuLaRoe clothes. There are mail packages and bins everywhere. It's a mess.
But she's ready to go again.
She knows she has to. She has so much to do, and she can't tell them that she can't come because they'll doubt that she's ever going to move with them.
She knows that that is exactly the response that she would get. Kody was just trying to goad her into saying, I really don't feel like getting back in the car and going and looking at these same properties again. And
she's like, my back is broke.
It's the perfect storm. It's the perfect story for Kody to come up with that Mary is not interested in moving at all.
Janelle is our impartial wife at this point because she hasn't seen any of the properties yet. So Kody is positioning her as being the tie-breaking vote. But if I don't agree with the one you vote for, my vote is going to count twice.
So Janelle hasn't seen any of the properties, but Christine and Robin haven't seen Cottonwood. So only Mary and Kody have seen both of the properties and have made a decision at this point.
That is true. That is a technicality.
So I think we still have 3 people in flux. And it seemed like Christine and Robin were pretty set on Coyote Pass.
You know who's not getting a vote? Mindy.
Oh, poor Mindy. Yeah, we find out she's not going to be moving from Vegas.
She has been Robin's live-in nanny for 6 years now. And this is the end. She is cut off after this because Mindy's staying in Vegas. She's not coming with them to Arizona. So this is a very sad time for Robin.
Well, it's hard to imagine life without Mindy. And
seriously, I couldn't do it without Mindy.
No, you can't. And that is why Mindy is so important. She is number 3 on Robin's top 3 reasons why she's going to miss Vegas so much. She listed off the cul-de-sac and some other dear friends outside of the family before she mentioned, oh, and by the way, Mindy too.
She-Ra needs her sidekick. She's going to have to find a new one.
I guess so. She's going to find the nanny instead.
Did you notice that Truly is already showing signs of prairie dog plague infection?
Why, by being nervous about making new friends?
No, she was coughing in the kitchen.
Oh, yeah. Did not cover her mouth.
She's going to get in a car. She's going to start spreading it. It has to have been tracked in on Kody's shoes. He's been there so many times.
But he hasn't been at Christine's house much since then, has he?
Christine went to Coyote Pass, though.
She did, and she was very impressed with the views. But she's trying to encourage Truly, it's going to be okay to move to Flagstaff. I promise. You'll make new friends. You're great at making friends, right?
Not really. Also, I can't really make friends unless I have internet. So is there going to be Wi-Fi there?
No Wi-Fi, not feeling it. Yeah.
That was my favorite objection to moving. I heard that there's not Wi-Fi there, so I'm not so sure if I can go.
Now, I think the confusion there is some people were trying to say, Christine must have been telling Truly that there's no Wi-Fi in order to make Truly not want to go, not want to move there. I think those people are grossly overestimating the pull that Christine and Truly's opinions would have to sway Kody in any way, shape, or form. I think you're giving them way too much credit. Even if she was able to do that and convince her, I don't think that's gonna sway Kody away from Coyote Pass at this point. And Cody's hair is full on Sideshow Bob this episode.
It's bad.
He is all over the place. He's telling Saul how great he looks while Kody is looking very disheveled.
I gotta say, his hair gets made fun of so much, and this is definitely the peak of its awfulness.
Was it all that wind from the Arizona trips?
I don't think it ever went back.
Yeah, it's still blown out from his 2-day trip with Mary.
That was the only thing that got blown out on that trip.
Yeah. Sure is. That hotel bed is not a problem.
Still got hospital corners on it. They're taking 7 cars on this trip.
Well, it's because a lot of the adult kids who are here, don't they live in Utah? So did they drive up to Vegas and then they're going to keep going to Flagstaff?
The only ones that live in Utah at this point are Tony and McKelty.
Oh, I thought, was it Aspen and Mitch?
They live in Vegas.
They live in Vegas, but they're just getting married
in
in Utah. Okay. Yeah, so it's kind of weird to take 7 cars then. But everybody has different schedules, different reasons why they have to depart.
And nobody wants to drive with Kody.
Well, that is a big part of it.
I'll just take my own car. I'm good.
But then Cody's complaining so loud about how he's having to drive alone. I'm surprised Mary didn't overhear that. He was very brave to be yelling that in the cul-de-sac.
She was about to jump in that car.
She would have placed herself right in the front seat, and then he'd really be regretting bringing that up.
I know. I think it's only been a couple of days since that last trip, and the wounds are still fresh, so she was not going to be doing that again.
Yeah, she needs a break more than he needs a break.
Yeah, they just traded barbs the whole way. That was painful to watch. Can't imagine what it's like when the cameras aren't on.
When the energy is high and the music is right, pushing past your limits becomes that much easier. Take a reggaeton run or strength class on the Peloton tread, and you'll quickly see why these are the workouts you've been searching for. Every day brings new challenges from expert coaches who train and speak the same language as you do. Level up your workouts with Peloton Tread. Find your push, find your power. Peloton. Visit onepeloton.com.
I have a secret. I used to struggle with dull, saggy skin. Then I found Spoiled Child's E27 liquid collagen. This extra strength liquid formula, packed with type 1 and type 3 collagen, vitamin C, and hyaluronic acid, makes it so easy to visibly transform your skin and hair. No more chunky collagen powders, just a smooth, delicious liquid that can be blended with any drink. With over 100,000 5-star reviews, this liquid collagen is going viral for a reason. And with their try before you buy offer, you could try your full-size product at home before buying. Take the quiz at spoiledchild.com/quiz. That's spoiledchild.com/quiz.
Hey, it's Mark Marin from WTF here to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. And I'm sure the reason you're listening to this podcast right now is because you chose it. Well, choose Progressive's Name Your Price tool, and you could find insurance options that fit your budget, so you can pick the best one for your situation. Who doesn't like choice? Try it at Progressive.com. And now, some legal info. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
1-800-Flowers.com knows that a gift is never just a gift. A gift is an expression of everything you feel and helps to build more meaningful relationships. 1-800-Flowers takes the pressure off by helping you navigate life's important moments by making it simple to find the perfect gift. From flowers and cookies to cake and chocolate, 1-800-Flowers helps guide you in finding the right gift to say how you feel. To learn more, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/ACAST.
This is a mini meditation guided by Bombas. Repeat after me. I'm comfy, comfy. I'm cozy, cozy. I have 0 blisters on my toes. Blisters. And that's because I wear Bombas, the softest socks, underwear, and t-shirts that give back. One purchased equals one donated. Now go to bombas.com/ACAST and use code ACAST for 20% off your first purchase. That's BOMBAS.com/ACAST and use code ACAST at checkout.
Well, we get rolling up to Cottonwood, the property here. I think it's somewhere in here. Robin seems to be lost. There's a parking area that's down here, and so they all start piling out of the cars.
She's seeing red flags. There was a dirt road all the way here. There's this big open parking area, but I don't see any property to build on.
Well, Shelby and Kody are just like, well, go ahead and roam free, guys. Go ahead and take a look. And Robin's like, where? What are we looking at? I thought this was like a rest stop where you pull off the side of the road in case you need to like close your eyes and take a nap.
You think it's a place to It's a place for truckers to rest for a bit.
Well, it's either that or the runaway trucker ramps that are on the highways, the side of the highways in the mountains.
I'm sorry.
What
is it you speak of?
We've driven through Pennsylvania. Haven't you seen those? It's those emergency ramps, basically, where if the brakes aren't working on the big semi-trucks when you're going downhill, there's like a veer off lane that you can go, and then you just go up the side of the mountain until you slow down and stop, and then you pull your emergency brake. That's just physics.
I don't believe you.
You don't believe me?
No. No.
That's an emergency.
That's horrifying.
It's an emergency pull off, not a pull out. Pull off.
Although that's advised as well. Are you going to prove this to me?
I'm going to try and see if I can find. Well, I don't really know what to Google for this.
Well, Corey's car facts, I thought were something we couldn't trust. Just as bad as Carly's animal facts, which a lot of people are interested in.
Well, yeah, of course. It's called a runaway truck ramp lane.
Can you show me
Or
one?
an escape lane, or a safety ramp, or an emergency escape ramp.
Well, wouldn't that be fitting to be in the Browns' front yard?
That's what I'm saying. This is a traffic device that enables vehicles which are having braking problems to stop safely. I'm not crazy here. We've driven by a bunch of these.
Never seen it before. Let's get back to our regularly scheduled program here. The biggest red flag of this thing, though, is Robin hates it.
It's a steep heel. She's not a fan of the steep heel.
It is so steep that truly requires trekking poles to reach the summit. Is that what's happening here?
So it's not an official set of trekking poles by any means. It is a makeshift set that she has fashioned herself out of some sticks and twigs.
I need a gif of that. But I need it to go up and then backwards.
Oh, you want the reverse action too.
Yeah, it was hilarious.
Yeah, we had to rewind that one a couple of times. It was good.
Janelle's good with this place. It's got trees. It's got 4 seasons. It's in the place she wants to live. She is going to find a check in her purse and chat up Shelby.
Yeah, she starts cutting a deal under the table with Shelby and lets her know, hey, I know you're getting into the busy season here with your property sales, so I'll throw down some earnest money on this. I got money to throw around.
I feel like Shelby didn't know what to do with that.
I think Shelby was scared, but also Shelby wants to close this deal.
She does, but I don't think she knows who she has to take direction from.
That's the tricky part, because normally you figure out who the decision maker is, and then you go for that person. She's being told that the decision maker is Janelle, but then Janelle's saying yes to everything, so...
I don't think the decision maker is Janelle. I'm sure Kody has positioned himself as the ultimate decision maker. He's the one who's been communicating directly with her.
Kody's also a person who is saying yes to everything.
That's true. But this is the first time she's ever met Janelle, and she is trying to cut a deal within the first 3 minutes of landing on this property.
This is where, I'm losing more and more respect for Janelle as the season goes on. Unfortunately, this is just a very difficult spot in the timeline for Janelle's story.
I thought it was strange that Shelby brought them to Cottonwood first. When Coyote Pass seemed to be the one that went over the best with the other wives, she made the mistake last time by showing Mary Cottonwood first.
The crown jewel, if you will. Or what do they call it in Bridgerton?
The diamond of the season?
The diamond of the season. That's Coyote Pass.
Cody's trying to sell Cottonwood hard. He's telling...
Whoa. I don't think that's necessary, but...
He's like, listen, you hear the wind through the trees?
And nobody can hear it. Somebody thought they heard a train whistle, but maybe that was just Cody's reenactment from a couple episodes ago.
He's like out there trying to tell folklore stories and convince everyone that this is the place for them. It's got no CC&Rs on this property, so they can build however they want. And that is how Shelby thinks she's going to close this deal.
No dance revolutions on this land. That is good.
I'm sorry?
What?
I think that's a joke I don't understand.
Yeah, that's exactly what that was. Yep. All right. So if you got it, you got it, but that's okay.
You can, maybe build 4 homes or even one big home.
So Shelby spills the beans yet again because she already messed this up by bringing it up in front of Mary, to which Kody did not say anything then of, hey, by the way, don't bring this up in front of the family or other people in the family because it makes them nervous. Maybe he wants her to bring it up, so then that way he can say, it was Shelby's idea.
I think you're right.
To save money on building.
Shelby's the one who talked me into it.
I got sold a
Don't
false
blame
bill of
me.
goods. I got tricked. A woman tricked me.
Yet again.
Again and again, my whole life.
The crowd has gone quiet at this point because everyone has heard her say this.
And then Shelby shifts into hard sell mode because now she's getting hard sell in this because she's expecting, just like Kody was a couple minutes ago.
Well, that didn't work.
No, it didn't.
It didn't get them as excited as she thought it would.
Yeah, neither did my joke. That's okay. That's all right. We'll keep going. I'm going to power through it. Don't worry.
So she starts pressuring them to make a decision about how this place is going to go fast.
It's going to fall through. If you like it, somebody else is probably going to like it too. You should make an offer. You're going to miss it. Don't miss it. Meanwhile, most of the kids hate it. Well, not most of. I would say Gwen in particular is not a fan of Cottonwood.
Well, she's just not that impressed.
It's just a bunch of trees.
As a teenager would feel looking at just an empty lot when you live in 4 real, tangible homes. And now you've just shown me the middle of the woods and said, can't you envision yourself living here in, 3 to 5 years?
Not really, if we're being honest. So then Christine starts giving some sagely advice to Gwen. Some advice, I suspect, she's been telling herself throughout this entire moving process. Things like, well, I'm sorry you think it's ugly, but you'll only have to live here for a couple of years. You'll only have to be here for like 3 more years, and then you're done.
I have to say, that is a real asshole thing to do as a parent, to set it up to your kids as though their opinion matters. And then when they give you one that you don't want to hear, you make them feel bad about how they feel.
And you suddenly lose interest in their opinion in the first place. And then you have to remind them that, well, most everyone else really enjoys this place, and we can't make all of our decisions based on what you want, you greedy little monster.
Even though we asked you if you could please give us your opinion about what you thought about it.
So bottle that up and take that back down to the parking lot with you. We're going to vote who really likes Cottonwood.
Well, some of us are going to vote.
A couple few people are brave enough to vote. And it seemed like decent numbers for people who thought Cottonwood was pretty nice. And then there were the quiet few who absolutely despised Cottonwood.
A couple of dissenters. Gwen, of course. And then Tony, but anyone really care what Tony thinks?
Not so much.
It was worth bringing him on the trip, though, because he immediately turns around, Robin standing next to him, and points out to everyone that Robin hasn't voted.
Well, you didn't like it here, and so are you going to vote no for it? Because you didn't vote yes. And so now Robin's all flustered because she's been called out. She's been caught in her deception to remove herself and her opinion from the decision here for now, because she wants to hold it and reserve judgment until they see Coyote Pass. She wants to see if the vote will be unanimous for Coyote Pass. If she votes, then it's worth it.
It seems like this all started with Aspen's wedding cake situation, and then she has just run with it because she continues this into future seasons where she will not give an opinion either way on the one big house, even though we now know she was very much in favor of it.
So now Cody's more confused than when they first arrived at Cottonwood. They're going to head over to Coyote Pass, which does have some CC&R restrictions. We don't like that. Restricting the capabilities to own chickens and horses and houses with multiple entryways.
There's restrictions on the size of your garden, maybe your grow house, your grow up. Janelle's very concerned about that.
She needs to read into this a little bit more.
And Robin's pretty worried on the ride over because the whole time she's thinking, I am very close to being outvoted, and then I'm going to have to live someplace that I don't want to live.
Yeah, it's almost like how every other person in the family feels right now. So that's pretty interesting because there's a lot of people who would just rather stay in Vegas right now and not move anywhere at all. But Robin hasn't seemed to be able to wrap her mind around that position yet.
That's a position she doesn't want to be in.
Well,
one of few.
Very few. So Robin knows her decision maker here is Janelle. She's staying close to Janelle. She has to hear everything that Janelle is saying so she can influence, sway, misinform. She's going to do whatever she needs to do to make sure that Janelle loves it here.
And she's caught on to the fact that the CCNRs are the thing that's really got her caught up on this property. So she starts throwing out ideas like, I don't know, I think maybe we can get over that. That's something that I think that maybe we can make an agreement on. We shouldn't consider that a reason to write this property off. What do you think? Do you love it? Do you want to live here?
And Janelle admits she does like Coyote Pass better if the CCNRs were removed. So Robin is now extremely hopeful that she's got this one in the bag. Everything's going according to plan.
You know who's not? Mary.
Mary is over in the dirt with the rest of the children, just getting ready for everyone else to hate Cottonwood now.
She is prepared for disappointment, which has been the story of her life. And she doesn't even put up a fight. She just waits it out because she knows it's coming.
As soon as everybody saw the mountain, she got to see the mountain this time, which was a significantly better view because the weather has drastically improved since just a few days ago when she was last here with Kody.
She doesn't care, though.
She doesn't care. That's not doing anything for her.
Now they've got to get Kody to change his mind because, as a reminder, he also loved Cottonwood. He was in favor of Coyote Pass first. Then he changed his mind on his last visit. But Janelle is chomping at the bit to write up a contract. So it's time to start hashing this out right here on the property.
Janelle would sell her soul to the Lady of the Woods.
The Lady of the
in
Woods.
order to live in this type of environment. So Kody is now rounding up everyone. He's got big announcements. They're going to start talking about stuff. Oh, but first things first, you know how Truly's digging a hole and eating handfuls of dirt right now? And Saul's kind of digging around and Ari's rolling around in the dirt. Maybe let's not have the kids do that. Shelby instructs them to all stop playing in the dirt because there just happens to be, you know, a little touch of prairie dog plague on every single speck of dirt in this entire bit of land.
The touch of plague.
Just a touch of plague. So maybe knock it off with the consuming of the dirt.
Maybe just don't consume any dirt.
Well, that's number one, top of the list advice, I would say. But sometimes you got to eat some dirt. And when you're out there, you're going to eat what's available to you. And so they are. Maybe this is why Robin could tell that Kody was hungry. He was started looking at the dirt too. And maybe
he started it.
He's eyeballing it. Yeah.
You would think that they would hear that this land has plague on it and perhaps not want to kick up a bunch of dirt to build on it.
Of all the people in this family who I thought would respond to the word plague, I would assume that Robin would be the one to say, what? And gather everyone up into the vehicles and whisk the children off to safety. But no, she knows her other option is Cottonwood, and she would rather be plague with a view than Cottonwood on the mountain for the rest of her life. In the trees. She wants to be of the trees, near the trees, not in the trees.
She told us later about how she has trauma from living in the trees in Montana, in the woods, in the wildfires.
It reminds me of when I was poor. That's the only thing she fears. Poverty.
This was surprising because it was the first time that Robin spoke up, and she was the first one to very loudly advocate for Coyote Pass and about how all the angels were singing to her here. I don't like how they're using that type of religious imagery to explain how they feel about the property, because I feel like that's intentional language to persuade the other adults to feel as though there has been a message from God that they're supposed to live here.
Which then is a relief for Kody when he's finding out that Mary can't hear the angels singing. And he's like, well, that makes sense, because why would Mary hear angels?
She's not coming to our planet with us.
She wouldn't hear angels anywhere. But it's just a way to set it up so that if you don't hear the angels singing, you're a demon.
There's something wrong with you because we all hear it.
Yeah, everybody else is hearing the song.
Kody is concerned about this property, though. He's suggesting that they might need to be flexible on their building options if they go with this one because it's more expensive. It's got the CCNRs. And that's when Robin nervously starts interjecting and trying to shut the conversation down.
Well, I think he starts rambling about building, subdividing, how much money they have. He starts going down the road of being flexible with building options, which I think, in my interpretation now, especially in hindsight, he is one step away from talking about Biggie Housey.
She knew. She knew that was the next thing to come out of his mouth, so she yells, "You need to eat."
You need to eat. And Garrison's face right behind Robin when she says that, when he turns his head to the side and he goes, huh?
He tilts his head like, what?
Oh,
when
man.
a dog doesn't understand.
It was spot on. That was the face.
He was like, I'm sorry, what did she just say?
That was the reaction.
And then Kody looks at his watch and, as though it's an original thought of his own, says that he needs to eat. He's starving.
He's starting to melt down. We should probably table this discussion for later.
Also, that's like a thing you tell a toddler. They're starting to get upset because they're hungry.
Well, she knows her man.
I don't know. I just thought about it, and I do that too. Who doesn't get hangry every once in a while?
Come on. Yeah, but I mean, and then Cody's talking about how he doesn't want to be pressured into buying it right now.
He only pressured everyone into moving right now.
And also, if they're destined to have it, then the land will still be available. It's only been on the market for a whole year. Nobody's gone after it. So I think they're okay.
I was going to say, that's your better argument. It's overpriced, and it's been on the market for a year. So I don't think it's flying off the shelves tomorrow. Calm down, Shelby.
So then we're back in Vegas, and it's been about a week since they looked at the land, and now all the adults are gathering together again to get a read on this, because we had our initial conversation on the land, but Cody's tum-tum was hungry, so he needed to step away and take care of that. We haven't revisited that topic until now.
We get a confession right out the gate from Janelle. She starts telling everyone about how she was trying to close a backdoor deal with Shelby on Cottonwood when she first got there, but she ended up changing her mind. So isn't that funny? I thank God I didn't do that.
Well, I know Robin's resting easier because she's like, well, if Janelle's making a backdoor deal, it's going to be with Coyote Pass now. So I'm all on board with that.
I feel like that was a moment where Kody would point to now and say that's when he started to not trust Janelle, or a reason why he knew he couldn't trust her.
I don't think he remembers any of these conversations.
All right, that's fair.
I don't think he thinks about this stuff.
I thought he looked really annoyed that she said that.
Well, yeah.
Even though she was trying to purchase the property that he liked more.
Yeah, but it's the trust. It is the trust. So then Cody's asking Mary for her opinion next, and she's questioning, why are you asking me? You should probably ask Robin.
And this leads to a really strange interaction between Robin and Mary.
Because Robin says, well, you're his first wife. And Mary goes, well, you're his legal wife. So why would you be asking me? Again, I ask, why?
Well, you know that's never mattered in this family.
It kind of. I mean, it would have helped Christine out a lot with scoliosis surgery.
But he still wouldn't have let Christine decide anything, let's be real. I like that Mary called that out, though, because she knows who's calling the shots here. And it sure is fucking her.
Yeah, well, she knows that.
Well, and she knows it's going to start an argument because she doesn't agree with everyone else. She liked Cottonwood, and she says it again. She loves Cottonwood. That would be her choice. And they immediately start shitting on her.
Yeah, because it turns out that Mary, Kody, and Truly are the only three people that like Cottonwood. But that would be a sitcom that I would watch.
Them living on Cottonwood together?
Mary, Kody, and Truly trying to clear those trees and build on that lot and make it work. I would watch that.
It's got to be like a Pioneer type show, though.
Yeah, log cabin.
Mm-hmm. We're going back to the 1800s.
Pretty much, yeah.
In full dress and everything. Maybe not.
Maybe not. Yeah, I don't think so. But they're definitely, Mary's outvoted, which she suspected that was going to be the case. But then Mary's suggesting, well, why are we picking between these two things that you're presenting a binary choice as if these are the only two options that are available to us ever? Why don't we wait for something until we all feel the draw and the same thing that you are feeling for Coyote Pass right now? Have everyone feel that way about the land that we would purchase. We could just move to Flagstaff. We're going to have to rent for a year or two anyway. We'll find rentals. We'll live there locally and find a piece of land that we all agree upon and feel so strongly about. Any thoughts on that?
Nah, we got to have something to look forward to. And to be honest, Mary, we don't really care about your opinion. And you're the only one who doesn't love Coyote Pass.
Yeah, so...
We're not going to pass up Coyote Pass for you.
Right, that's what we're getting at here.
I do feel like part of this is that Robin wouldn't move without a dream for her kids.
She needs she needs a carrot to dangle.
And so does Kody. He needs a dream to unite everyone with.
They have to have the vision behind it, the unified force that moves forward here.
They won't listen to every bit of reason that Mary has laid out throughout this entire process. So she's like, that's fine. I'll be okay with it.
So I think the problem is, again, it's when Mary used to say things were fine, they weren't. And so when she means it's fine now, nobody believes her, which it's kind of hard when you start outgrowing the people that are around you, that are surrounding you in this family unit that you've established. Because Mary, who is growing and being honest about her feelings and bringing these things up, no one else believes her. You cannot be credited for growth because they say, no, we know you, Mary. We know when you say it's fine, you actually mean it's not fine. Well, maybe 20 years ago, yeah, that was true. But now that Mary has come to terms with these things and she is being more transparent, or trying to be at least, upfront and honest about the way that she feels, she's being met with resistance more than anything.
I feel like I am becoming a Mary apologist this season because I cannot handle how much they are constantly harassing her every time they get together.
There is no room for growth in this toxic family system because predictability is the key. We need to know how everyone's going to react to everything always.
So they decide that they're going to put an offer on Coyote Pass, but it's going to kill the deal if they don't get rid of the CCNRs. That's what they've agreed on. And everyone is waiting for Mary to erupt into applause or excitement and joy.
I don't know what they expect Mary to do when she has told them it's fine if this is the direction we want to go. Cool, I guess, but I'm not crazy about it. And then they take that as, oh, she's being apprehensive. She's holding back. She's not excited. Correct. She's told you that. So I don't know how else she needs to explain it either, because Mary's really at her wit's end with these people.
You know what the problem is? She's not playing pretend for them.
And they don't like that. And that's what she asks. Do you want me to kind of fib and lie and play it up as if I am excited? I guess I could do that, but it wouldn't be honest. Do you want me to be honest, or do you want me to blow smoke up your ass, basically?
Well, they want both.
Yes, both.
But it's because they don't want her to admit that she's pretending. They want her to just take that on as her actual feelings. She's supposed to be keeping sweet and acting like she's okay with everything that they're doing.
So this is why it doesn't make sense to anybody else in the room, and Mary's losing her mind.
That spurs an entire conversation about how they're a transient family. They move every couple of years, and Robin starts to flip out because that is not what this move is meant to be. We are going to live in Flagstaff, Arizona, and we are not moving ever again.
Which that's the exact same thing that she said about Vegas. So it's really hard to believe you when you're really just going at it in that direction. It's the same song and dance that you did with the family commitment ceremony, putting down the roots, planting the trees, telling all the children that this is our forever home. The cul-de-sac is the culmination of every perfect living situation we've ever had.
I mean, why do you think we built 4 homes? It was so we could resell them.
Is that why? Or was it because you legally couldn't build one big home in Vegas, and so you needed to find the next best thing, which was just buying up an entire cul-de-sac and building 4 custom homes that are in close proximity, as close as you can be to one house, legally for where you reside?
Corey, I think it's really nice that you think that that's the reason and not because they hate each other and weren't ever going to want to live in one house again.
Well, nobody wants to share a kitchen with Mary. We already know that. We know that.
That opens up the one big house conversation. That's the pink elephant in the room that nobody has revisited since Shelby brought it up. And Christine tries to explain in the clearest, loudest way she possibly can that it is, in all capital letters, never going to happen.
So this is news to Kody, apparently, because he is shocked and appalled by Christine's reaction to this. But he also meets it with a challenge because he says, well, I guess we'll see. Because now Kody is very confident in his sales abilities after convincing Janelle to move from Vegas to Flagstaff. So now he's thinking, I'll be able to convince Christine to live in one big house. Once she sells her house and has no other options, I'll be able to get her into one house.
Janelle is seeing where this is going, And she is ending this conversation. My guess is because she knows this could end the move. They will just decide, forget it. We're just going to stay here in Vegas because there's no way the one house is happening.
Her compromise is, let's stop talking about this. Let's get the property first. Let's sink all of our assets into this so we have no other options. And then we can discuss if it's going to be one house or four houses. No, I don't think so. I think we need to be very clear about what we're using this land for and how we're going to be building on it if we do ultimately build on it.
That was another genius move from Janelle, wasn't it?
She is slipping out of there.
Now they need to talk about more tactical things, like deciding when they're going to list their homes, because they may have their offer accepted in the next few days here. And school starts in August. And Kody wants to make sure the kids have at least 2 weeks to adjust before they start school. So that means you need to have listed your houses like yesterday.
Well, and the two biggest proponents for the move here, Janelle and Robin now, are the first to push back on, it's going to be really hard to sell my house this summer. I don't know if I'm going to be able to put my house on the market here this summer. Exactly. I got a lot to do.
I was Mary. I got a lot to do this summer, bitch. I am all booked up. I have plans. I am traveling. I have to go help Leon and Audrey move to Chicago. Remember that?
Which Kody immediately responds with, can't Leon move himself? Leon's an adult, which is the same exact response he has when Leon and Audrey had to move out of Chicago during COVID. He told Mary the same thing. He bookended this move to Chicago, finished it the exact same way it began.
He at least did take a couple of seconds and then remembered that he just helped Maddie and Caleb move, so he really can't use the argument that the adult kids can't move themselves because he just helped an adult child move.
Let's take a moment and take quick stock of the room as well. These are 5 adults in Janelle's living room that cannot move to Flagstaff on their own. And you are asking your own kids to help you move because you can't do it. And then you want Leon to move to Chicago alone?
It's not that hard.
He does not think before he speaks. I think that is the evidence that is very abundant throughout the series.
What was with Robin? All of a sudden, she's pretending that she doesn't know if God wants them to do this. She hasn't had that moment of divine intervention yet, that inspiration.
She's waiting to feel God in that prairie dog plague.
I feel God in this Chili's tonight. I think that she said that because she's setting it up to then have this divine intervention about needing to live in one big house on Coyote Pass.
Well, because Kody's trying to tell her, well, God's been talking to me the whole time, because in Kody's heart, guts, butts, it's Flagstaff. Flagstaff is the answer to every problem that Kody has.
Well, we end this conversation deciding that it's time to put in an offer on Coyote Pass, and Mary is not going to stand in their way.
And Janelle's just thankful that we're progressing and we've stopped talking about the Biggie Housey, which that would immediately prevent anybody making an offer on this property. And she just wants to get some money involved so that way nobody has any other options.
Including herself. What an ironic thing to eventually bite you in the butt.
Very much so.
To get people excited about Boost Mobile's new nationwide 5G network, we're offering unlimited talk, text, and data for $25 a month.
Forever.
Even if you have a baby.
Even if your baby has a baby.
Even if you grow old and wrinkly and you start repeating yourself.
Even if you start repeating yourself.
Even if you're on your deathbed and you need to make one last call.
Or text.
Right, or text. The long-lost son you abandoned at birth.
You'll still get unlimited talk, text, and data for just $25 a month with Boost Mobile.
Forever!
After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Unlimited plan.
Forever!
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Hey, it's Mark Marin from WTF here to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. And I'm sure the reason you're listening to this podcast right now is because you chose it. Well, choose Progressive's Name Your Price tool, and you could find insurance options that fit your budget, so you can pick the best one for your situation. Who doesn't like choice? Try it at Progressive.com. And now, some legal info. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Cue the fireplace and your favorite fall movie. There's nothing better than a cozy evening at home with a glass of First Leaf wine. First Leaf is a personalized wine club that delivers right to your door. Sounds magical, right? They get to know your favorite tasting notes, which varietals you enjoy, and whether you prefer sweet or dry wines. So in every shipment, you get bottles tailored to your unique palate. Go to tryfirstleaf.com/fall to get your first 6 wines for just $44.95 with free shipping.
Where'd you get those shoes? Easy. They're from DSW. Because DSW has the exact right shoes for whatever you're into right now. You know, like the sneakers that make office hours feel like happy hour. The boots that turn grocery aisles into runways. And all the styles that show off the many sides of you, from daydreamer to multitasker and everything in between. Because you do it all in really great shoes. Find a shoe for every you at your DSW store or DSW.com.
We have a Mitch and Aspen wedding scene. All right, the bagpipes are disturbing, Maisie.
But it is a Scottish theme, in case you guys missed it.
Is it? Because I don't think Kody knows what Scottish people sound like.
Well, I think he is confusing Scottish and Irish.
That happens a little bit in the scene.
Very much.
A couple of times.
He hits Mitch with leprechaun voice, which I don't think is applicable for the theme. It's not on theme.
I don't think it's acceptable in either culture.
It's not. It's really not.
It's a big day because Mitch's kilt has arrived, and they have a little gift for Kody to open as well.
Not to be outdone, Kody's going to be wearing a kilt as well.
Perhaps a little differently than they had envisioned, though.
Maybe not a traditional sense, but Kody's been doing some research. He's been looking at photos of men in kilts, and he's seen a lot of white socks lately.
And combat boots.
So I don't know if he's looking at 70s punks in New York, or...
Is he looking at semi-nude calendars of Scottish men?
Would they have socks on?
Does he have like an Outlander calendar or something? They have to disappoint him. You're going to have to wear dress shoes. This is a classy event.
So that's when he's starting to say white socks with the black shoes. And Mitch is like, ooh, no, dude. Strike 2. Try again. You'd probably want to wear black socks with black shoes.
You should have just delivered his entire outfit to him.
Whole thing.
Don't let him pick any aspect of it.
No, better not. But it's a kilt, not a dress. You sicko. From the Grinch.
I'm not getting any of your jokes tonight, man. They're falling flat. He's trying the kilt on over his jeans, so it's a wee bit tight.
A wee bit.
And Aspen's trying to remind him, well, I mean, you're not going to wear your jeans under it, so it should fit you once you take those off.
So then we learn about the sporran. It's not a purse, so stop trying to call it a purse. It's a sporran, and you only wear it for the fancy events. And this is, of course, a fancy event. It's a royal wedding.
Okay, but it's to hold things. What do you need to hold?
Your wallet.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. Probably a flask.
Okay.
I
think that's probably more along the lines of what traditionally would go in there.
Okay. Well, I'm just saying, yeah, for the wedding day, a little flask, maybe some glow sticks. You can probably put all kinds of stuff in there. Bubbles?
Bubbles?
Yeah. You can put anything you want in a sporran. But this isn't just any old sporran. This is a cladosporan. And again, we're kind of mixing Irish and Scottish.
Celtic, not the same.
Crossing some wires here. It's not going great, but they're going to let it slide.
There are only so many things that they can object to. He's also been hiking the kilt up higher and higher. They're trying to explain that's not really the way you wear it. Please do not go commando on the day of. Wear the correct color socks.
Please stop raising the kilt up to show your entire leg while Aspen is taking photos.
I'm telling you, this is why his hair was a mess at the wedding, because she couldn't even fathom getting to that with all the other things that she had to try to correct about the way he was going to show up to this wedding.
Kody in a kilt is too much of a liability at any public affair, let alone at your wedding. It's a big risk to take on.
I don't think I would have asked him to wear the kilt. You had to assume he would take too many liberties with it.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game to play, and I think they're lucky that they ended up with what they ended up with, and that was it.
Kody is in Christine's library on the phone with Shelby because they've made an offer on Coyote Pass, and they received a response very late last night, and it's not great.
Well, it was countered. They received a counter offer, so now they have to assess what is in this counter offer and if they can match it. So they're working on a counter to the counter.
They offered 70% below asking, and the sellers...
They offered 70% of asking price. If they were 70% below, we would be talking about a very different conversation that would be taking place.
Sorry, I fucked that up. That's probably what they should have done.
Maybe they should have started there, yeah.
They came back, though, at 85 being the floor. So they're not dropping below 85% of what they had originally asked for.
And so Kody's genius counter that he's come up with is that their counter price, they're going to meet the 85% and just take that difference out of their down payment because he's just moving the money around. They have a set amount of money, enough for the down payment and what they're going to pay for the land. So he's just going to take from this pile and put it into that pile, and it all goes to the seller.
He's such a good negotiator, though, that he tells Shelby he's willing to pay more for this land if they'll get rid of the CC&R restrictions.
That wasn't on your original offer? You fucking idiot.
What if they accepted the original offer?
That's what I'm saying. If you kept the CC&Rs on there on your initial offer, that was the dumbest thing you've ever done.
My guess is Shelby knew that the 70% of what they asked was not going to fly, and they were going to come back and counter it anyway.
That's pretty confident.
Well, she must have been pretty confident that that was a lowball offer.
I don't know how they managed to make it this far in the negotiations, but now here come the wives. Let's talk about it some more. Everything's way too expensive. We've still got to take some of this money and put it towards retirement, right? Isn't that what we're using some of this for? The selling of the houses in Vegas? Wasn't this the financial stability of the future of our family? Wasn't that dependent on this move?
That has fallen so far down the priority list that they almost don't even remember that they originally had that conversation.
That ship has sailed. It is too late for all of you people in this room to be saving for retirement. I'm sorry. That's just the way it is.
They agree with the solution because they want to buy this property. So we'll just put less money down and we'll make our final offer.
And Janelle's ready to cash out her 401k, whatever's left of it from my sister wife's closet.
And Mary's just listening very quietly as they all talk about all this cash that they didn't have just a few months ago when she asked them to borrow a measly couple $1,000s for her bed and breakfast.
She's sitting in the exact same spot where all of these people collectively told her, sorry, we don't have no money.
Wasn't it 40 grand that she needed? Now they have $800,000.
Just flying around. We're talking crazy numbers here now.
Do you think they got their paycheck from TLC and they're immediately spending it?
Dumping it into the land? I mean, I could see it happening, but yeah, there's no way to tell what's going on here.
I don't know how you explain that they didn't have any money a few months ago.
Well, it was all tied up in Kody's business. So it couldn't be tied up in Mary's business because it was already tied up in Kody's business. And then they got their finances in order so that way they could go out and spend $800,000 on some new land.
The craziest part of this is Mary has been compromising every step of the way of this move. She didn't want to leave Vegas. She agreed that she would do it. She agreed that she would go to Flagstaff. She agreed that she would buy the property that wasn't the one that she wanted. And Janelle still wants more out of her.
They don't want her to lie, but they also don't know what to do with her honesty.
She really just wasn't interested in joining this conversation.
She's like, call me when you guys get it, when I need to pack stuff, I guess.
And when she gets up to leave the end of the meeting, Kody stops her and asks if she can stay behind to talk to him.
Because I think Kody and the rest of the wives, they're just upset that Mary isn't invested in this move. But nobody has done anything to get Mary invested in this move. So maybe they're going to talk about that. Maybe they're going to try and level set and get on the same page. No, not really. It's basically just Kody asking Mary to stay after class, where he's going to close the door and speak to her in private in front of the TLC cameras, which are going to be airing this in a couple of months.
He did apologize for not being more understanding about Cottonwood.
Well, because he kind of was sad that Robin didn't tell him his home was going to be Cottonwood. It was very special to me too, Mary.
I wondered if he meant, I'm sorry that I wasn't more understanding, or I'm sorry I didn't back you. Because he was really into it.
Well, it was just him and Truly who were backing Mary on Cottonwood.
Yeah, but he very quickly stopped fighting that fight.
Well, because it was a lost cause. How are you going to convince the rest of the family to go to Cottonwood when everybody else wants Coyote Pass?
I really don't feel like she's starting a problem here. She understands that no one else liked that property, that there was a lot that needed to be done there, that there were a lot of trees they'd have to cut down. It was a lot of work. Even though she liked it, it wasn't the perfect place for them. And she's not making a stink about it. But they're continuing to question if she is actually moving with them.
To be fair, I think she did a better job in the living room conversation of voicing her opinion, making it clear where her intentions were, and outlining all of that. Nobody was able to comprehend that, though, because they still thought something's up with Mary.
I think I get what you're going. She's annoyed that this continues to be a conversation that she has to have.
She was shittier in this conversation because she's repeating and she's constantly defending.
Well, it's like she's reliving the B&B where they didn't believe that she wasn't going to move there. And she had to constantly tell them, no, it's a business. It's not going to be my home. Now she's having to defend that she's going to move to Flagstaff with them, even though she's not over the top excited about the place that they have chosen to move to.
So now she's outright telling Kody, you need to stop questioning if I'm coming along. I am coming along. And Cody's trying to dance around that too. Well, I know that you're physically going with us. You're moving to Flagstaff, but I just want you there on board with us and getting excited about it too. Well, it's hard to do that when there is no investment. We've already discussed this.
It makes me wonder if he was hoping that if he gave her every possible opportunity to say that she didn't want to move with them, that she would just stay behind and they would get divorced.
Or something. He's trying to then make suggestions of, oh, I wish you would have said this. And it's things that Mary has said.
The literal words that she said in the last meeting.
Word for word in the last conversation. So that is where it's just like, I don't know what else needs to be said at this point. You guys clearly do not listen to Mary. You do not take anything that she has to say into account. And you guys just need to come to terms with that too.
I also think she's a little shitty about the fact that they suddenly have all this money.
Yeah, I feel like
that's helping.
To sit in the same exact place to hear this conversation where you're throwing money around for the Flagstaff move and knowing that that's Robin's dream that we're paying for again, that's got to sting a little bit, to say the least. So now Cody's going to shoo Mary out of the library and he's going to scooch back over to the desk because he's got to work on drafting up his response officially, his counter offer of counter offers.
We're going to leave him to do that. It is Aspen's bridal shower, and they have just a few hours to finish setting everything up.
And Mitch is going to be there as well, which is very taboo. They have to keep pointing out.
Just Mitch, though.
It's not a co-ed bridal shower. It's just Mitch and all of these ladies.
It does sound like he knew what he signed up for because she warned him, they're probably going to give me some gifts that may feel a little awkward to open up in front of everyone together. He's like, that's okay. If it doesn't bother you, I'm good with it. I'm here for the food.
Pretty much. And the chuppah.
He is being put to work. He's working on building an arch, although I am pretty sure that meets the exact guidelines for a chuppah.
It's a chuppah.
But you call it whatever you want to, bitch. You built it. Aspen's wearing a nacho average bride tank, and I really hope that she regifted that to Christine.
Yeah, that would be a good one for... I feel like this family is confusing bridal showers with bachelorette parties with... They don't really know what to expect in the monogamous marriage timeline.
I don't know if that's normal in some places, that these are the types of gifts that are given at bridal showers, but I don't know that I've ever attended one where it looks like 95% of the gifts were lingerie.
Every single gift that we saw Aspen open on camera was lingerie.
We're not to that part yet, though. We're not that far yet. Kody barges in as they're in the final hours of setting things up. And he's here to collect some of his wives because Christina's here, Robin's here, and he has an update on the move.
So he is here to whisk them away over to Janelle's house. He maybe almost forgot to invite Mary to this, but then he lucked out because she was actually already out running errands anyway, but she'll be back in just a moment. And you can tell Christine is already stressing out because she's asking Kody, where is Mary at this point? I have stuff to do. I need to get back over to my house. I have a party that I'm preparing for. And Kody is he is shaking in his boot lamps.
It is over his shoulder in this scene.
Well, Mary blows in and she is told to sit down at a spot on the couch, which she does. And she doesn't even say hi. She just says, is this about Shelby and the offer? Oh, great. Awesome. And we get into it.
It turns out that their offer was accepted, but they came back with one stipulation. They're going to remove the CC&Rs, but what they're not going to do is pay for the utilities to be set up.
So you're telling me that this family has made the counteroffer to match the 85% price point of the seller, and now the seller is saying, hey, we're not going to pay for the utility pull. Do you know how much that costs?
It is very, very, very expensive. Thousands of dollars.
It's crazy expensive.
We have to talk about the finances. The fact that Shelby told them this property was overpriced. It was well above market value. Then they agreed to pay 85% of asking, and they got rid of this request to pay for the utilities.
Which Kody glosses over by saying, well, hopefully that's not a huge problem.
What do you mean?
It's going to be because finances are not your strong suit.
It drives me literally insane that they did not have a builder help them with this, that they did not have someone who was informed about the cost of these things and of local zoning laws and permits and things that you need in order to complete a project like this. They ran this by no one, spent over $800,000 on this land, and did not have all the information that they needed before they did it.
It should work out, though. We should be doing all right. I think so. This is overwhelmingly good news, isn't it?
Kody's not really sure.
Yeah, Kody's not sure. But the wives, there's like a sigh of relief where they're like, oh, thank God, that step is over, that part of the process. But then it all hits Kody at once, where he just feels like he's paying a bunch of money for a whole hell of a lot of work. This man is incapable of thinking ahead. He has reached the threshold point where now you have bought the land. You are acquiring the land. That is done. And now he is thinking of all of the repercussions of moving. You needed to assess that before you started making offers on the land.
Maybe before you start asking your family members if they're committed to moving. Maybe we should have thought about it then.
He was so focused on this deal. It's just the deal. He gets focused on the deal, and then you're paying out the ass for it, too.
Robin told on herself a little bit in this scene because she starts yelling at Kody that she spoke to him about this 6 months ago.
That would be, what, December?
It was December, yeah. So that would have been around the time that he's sitting in Mary's B&B talking to Leon about how he wants to leave Vegas.
And at the time, it was moved back to Utah, but we know the tune changes a little bit. But this is all very real. It's a huge undertaking. This is their biggest move ever. He has less children than ever to help him move, and he has more stuff than ever because he has accumulated 4 households worth of goods.
He suddenly just realized that they're going to have to live in separate rentals, even though they've been saying that the entire time as one of their main concerns.
Oh my gosh. And did you know we're moving away from Axel? Baby Axel, did you know that he lives right down the street? Right now in Vegas? Did you know that?
Again, Janelle brought it up in the first meeting when he pitched moving.
This man is miles behind everyone else in this thought process.
He's just catching up with Mary, too, because then he points out we're using all the available cash that we have to buy this land. So that means we have to list these houses right away. We need to sell them so that we can get some money back in the family coffers.
It's a very sobering moment for all of them. But Robin's just confused. But Kody, you are the one who's been pushing this land idea. What do you mean? You're having regrets? Second thoughts?
I thought this is what you wanted.
You wanted to be working in the dirt with your kids getting prairie dog plague, didn't you?
That is an excellent question, because is that really what he wanted?
Is it? Maybe he got tricked by another woman.
We're getting into scary territory, so that's when Robin decides that she's going to deflect by turning attention back on their family scapegoat, Mary.
Yeah, because then we immediately question Mary's commitment to move yet again. Robin starts off by saying, Mary hasn't said anything yet. I don't know what she's thinking. And then Kody throws her under the bus too and says, yeah, Mary, you haven't said anything since you've walked in here, which is not true. She didn't even say hello. She got right down to business.
She's like, what the fuck? How did it get turned back on me again?
She is annoyed by this, but she doesn't really call it out. She's just exhausted. She cannot continue to fight back on this.
I have a theory about what was going on here, that I think that Robin turned attention back to Mary and that everyone needs to be on board, and Mary hasn't said anything yet because she's trying to give Kody an out to back out on this whole deal, but end up blaming Mary for it.
That plus any of the negativity that Kody is feeling right now, he's going to direct it back towards Mary. Because
That's true.
Because now Mary is more upset than he has been. And so he's just going to pin all of that negativity and doubt as the origins. It came from Mary. That was big Mary energy.
That's true, because then he says to her, I'm sorry, we're just dragging you along on our little dream.
On our little dream, which you just spent the last 5 minutes completely freaking out about.
Well, now that we've had that little crisis, let's start talking about next steps.
But this is where Christine has to call it. She's like, look, I love you guys, and it's great. This is exciting. I'm absolutely ecstatic right now, if you couldn't tell. But I also have a lot of shit going on. I need to get back to my house. You guys can talk about it more if you want. Send me the notes afterwards. Do whatever you got to do. But I'm going back over there.
And they all get up. They leave Kody sitting on Janelle's couch, just staring a hole into oblivion.
Well, Kody forgot about the shower because, of course, this is...
Oh, he doesn't care about that. It's not about him.
It's not the shower day. It's their purchase day that he's immediately regretting. Buyer's remorse day is what it is. But the real kicker here is when Robin and Christine, they run off, and then Kody has another quick aside with Mary, who is getting up and leaving now too, because everyone else has vacated the premises. And Kody says to her, well, I guess it's kind of exciting. And Mary just turns and stares at him like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
She hates him so much.
Get away from me. Run for your life.
She needs to not be the last person to leave the room.
Yeah, you need to start being the first person to leave. She was never able to be the first person to leave.
No, never.
Never.
Ugh. That's my intro to talking about this shower.
It's a bridal shower. Get ready for racy gifts. Shield your eyes. Gird your loins.
I honestly don't even want to talk about it because every time they have a bridal shower, we just watch the same exact thing happen over and over again.
Yeah, it's just Maddie trying to explain the rules of a game to us.
Why are they so bad at that?
We've been to family game night. We know how convoluted and backwards and how misunderstood the newlywed game rules are to this family.
Aspen can't figure it out. She's also really stressed about what to answer, which is me being put on the spot in any situation. She really should have given Aspen a heads up about the questions beforehand.
She didn't, because she asked Mitch for the responses of what he thinks that Aspen would answer. So it's Mitch's answers of what he thinks Aspen will answer. And now we're asking Aspen, what did Mitch answer that he thought you would have your answer be? It's really that simple.
We learn nothing from this other than she has a celebrity crush on Josh Groban.
Which immediately calls into question Aspen's judgment on just...
anything and everything. She didn't even seem to know the answer at first.
She didn't.
Took her a long time to get to Josh Groban.
Well, because that's how boring Josh Groban is. She didn't even remember that he is her top pick for celebrity hot guy.
She opens a lot of little pieces of lingerie, panties, thongs, all kinds of things. And McKelty shouts, making everyone uncomfortable. Do you want to? I thought you might interject what she shouted.
You thought I was listening to McKelty? Uh-oh.
It could go on the floor, too.
Oh, it can match on the floor. Yes, yes.
Chill out, girl. Chill.
This is Aspen's day, and then McKelty gets to jump in and take a little spotlight there.
Hey, Robin, too.
Gotta be the freaky aunt, you know?
On the couch, Robin's talking about how excited she is for grandbabies. That was her thought in her mind when she saw the lingerie.
Red-headed grandbabies, specifically.
I do want Robin to know that you can have sex and not have a baby.
Sex is different than procreation. They are connected, but they can be two separate things.
I don't know, maybe we need the purity talk.
Maybe we need some cosmic brownies.
Everyone's having fun doing that at Christine's, and Kody is still on the couch where all of the wives left him. He's not doing well because he's thinking about living in rentals and how he's not going to see his kids. Well, some of his kids.
Some, yeah, in particular. I just love how Kody is stewing in the corner like a James Bond villain, and he has been left alone with his thoughts, which is a very scary place for him.
He's just now realizing he's not going to see Ari every single day. And he doesn't want to miss out on 1 minute of her growing up.
Because he doesn't want to close his eyes. He doesn't want to fall asleep because he'd miss you, Ari. And he don't want to miss a thing.
So it's not really about being away from all of the kids. It's about being away from the youngest kids.
The last kid.
Robin's kids.
Well, I think that is the other half of that thought that Kody is not allowed to share out loud with the cameras, is that I'm moving away from the cul-de-sac where right now I basically just live at Robin's and then pop over into the other houses when it's convenient and when I have a little bit of spare time. Now we're going to move to Flagstaff and we're going to live in different neighborhoods, further away from each other than we have been for years. And I will not be at Robin's house for every waking moment. I'm going to have to pretend like I like these other people again. I don't think he's up for the task.
Next episode, Aspen and Mitch are getting married with bagpipes, kilts, and lots of flower girls. It's a perfect day, but the officiant has lost his voice, and the Browns are stressing because they have to move to Flagstaff, Arizona within a month.
How are they going to talk about it? Didn't Aspen put a gag order on the move? They're not allowed to talk about it during the wedding.
Not during the wedding hours. Thank you for listening. If you want to support us, the best way to do that is by subscribing to the podcast and leaving a review on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
Be sure to chat with us about the episode on our Discord channel by joining our Patreon, patreon.com/survivingpod.
Stay tuned, share with friends. See you next time.
Hey, it's Mark Marin from WTF here to let you know that this podcast is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. And I'm sure the reason you're listening to this podcast right now is because you chose it. Well, choose Progressive's Name Your Price tool, and you could find insurance options that fit your budget, so you can pick the best one for your situation. Who doesn't like choice? Try it at Progressive.com. And now, some legal info. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.